Hello, welcome to the Swann Systems Auto Enrolment presentation for employees. Auto Enrolment, I received a letter, and what does it mean? The format for this presentation will be an explanation of auto enrolment, how your employer will have assessed you. As an employee, you have received a letter. What does it mean and what steps you need to do next? The cost to you and your future options. Here is a brief overview of auto enrolment. The government has put this initiative in place to get more of the working population to have their own pension and not to rely solely on the state pension. The official regulator for this is the pension regulator, and they are nothing to do with HMRC. It is mandatory for your employer to provide a single, compliant company pension scheme. Your employer chooses a scheme that they feel best suits the company and the employees. If you do not like the company pension provider, you can ask your employer to change or provide a different pension scheme, but they do not have to do so. The company pension scheme should be in place before the company's staging date. Your employer can use the 3-month postponement period to cover any new employee probation period or employees due to leave. Workers' employees are assessed on or as near to the company's staging date, then they are classed as an eligible or non-eligible employee. After the start of the company pension scheme, your employer has to pay your pension contributions to the pension provider along with the company's contribution. At every pay period, they will need to assess every employee to see if they are still within the criteria. If an employee changes, then the appropriate payroll enrolment letters will need to be sent. Every 3 years, your employer will need to reassess all employees and workers and opt in any opted out staff. So what's a company staging date? The fixed staging date is given to the company by the pension regulator and can only be changed in extraordinary circumstances. On the staging date, your employer will need to assess every employee worker to see if they are an eligible or non-eligible employee. Your employer will then need to issue the appropriate letters. The pension regulator has templates for these letters, which I shall show you shortly. Your employer is allowed to send these letters by hard copy or by email. Verbal is not permissible. If you do receive your letter by email, you should send a reply to your employer confirming that you have received the letter. You do not have to read it. You are only confirming that you've received it, and you are not committing yourself in any way to confirm that you have got it. Your employer just has to prove that they have sent these out to all workers. Your employer also has to make sure that the payroll, whether it be an in-house or by a payroll provider, is set up to process the pensions for all their employees. Your employer will also need to decide if they need to utilise all or part of the 3 months postponement period. This has been put in place mainly for new starter probationary periods. So am I an eligible or non-eligible employee? If you are over 22 years of age on the staging date and before your official state retirement age, you are classed as eligible. You also need to be earning over £5,824 a year or £112 a week to be classed as eligible. If you do not fit these criteria, then you are classed as non-eligible. As I mentioned before, at every pay period your employer has to assess to see if anyone has changed their eligibility. This is mainly for young people having their 22nd birthday. It will be the pay period after their birthday that they will now be classed as eligible, as long as their earnings are over the £112 a week or equivalent. Remember, it doesn't matter if you don't earn enough, that you don't want to be part of the scheme, or you're under 22 years of age or already retired, you will have to be assessed. So the assessment says that you're an eligible employee. So you will receive a letter from your employer. Here below is the pension regulator template for an eligible employee, so I'll leave you a couple of seconds to have a read. So you've received your eligible letter. So the letter notifies you of your automatic enrolment into the company pension scheme. The letter will give you all of the details about the company pension scheme, the first payroll date it starts, and all of the details of the pension provider and how you can access your own pension. Many of the pension providers do have online portals so that you can keep track of your pension yourself. If you are happy to be in the company pension scheme, you need not do anything. But I would strongly suggest you get copies of all the information you're sent and keep it safe at home. It might be that you have many jobs over your working lifetime and it is your responsibility to keep track of your pensions, as you might end up being enrolled in quite a few. The letter also gives you the right to opt out. This is something you have to do directly with the company pension provider. Your employer is allowed to give you the pension provider's information, but they must not assist you to opt out in any way. It is illegal and penalties can be imposed. So it is up to you to opt out. So you're classed as a non-eligible employee. As we did for the eligible employee, here is the pension regulator's template which your letter might look like. So you've received a non-eligible letter. It does sound a bit derogatory to be a non-eligible employee, but that's the official title. The letter you have received from your employer will let you know that you are classed as non-eligible on the staging date, but it will give you the option to opt in. If you would like to opt in, then please put in writing to your employer that you would like to be part of the scheme. Your employer will then add you to the company pension scheme and send you a new letter notifying you that you are opted in with all of the pension details. If you are happy to remain opted out, then you need not do anything. But as I said for the other opted in employees, do keep all of the paperwork letters in a safe place for future reference. Should your employer have the whole workforce classed as non-eligible, then they do not have to put a pension scheme in place, but do have to send all of the letters out. Should any employee worker wish to become part of a company pension scheme, then your employer would then have to put a company pension scheme in place. So how much will it cost? As you can see, up to March 2018, then it is 1% for an employer and 1% employee, of which you get 0.2% tax relief. And as you can see, this increases in April 2018 and 2019. Your employer will pay the pension providers monthly. Some employers do put a higher percentage contribution into the company pension schemes of their employees. You also have the right to request to increase your own contribution or make a set amount. If you choose a set amount, it would still need to make sure it is above the minimum levels as shown. Please note your pension contribution might show on your payslip as a 1%, as it might not show the pension tax relief. This is dependent upon the payroll software, but I'm sure that when you check your pension that you will find you have got the tax relief on that. So what happens in the future? All of our circumstances change and you never know what will happen. So the pension regulator stipulates that your employer needs to fully reassess all the staff every 3 years and re-enroll any opted out employees, whether they like it or not. Therefore, if you have opted out, your employer will put you into the company pension scheme and it will be your decision if you would like to stay or opt out again at that point in time. This also applies at any time that you can opt in or opt out to the company pension scheme. So it gives you the flexibility if your earnings increase to invest in your retirement, however long away that seems to be. If you change your employment, then many of the pensions are transferable, so that your pension can follow you around. But it may mean that you need to opt out of your new employer's pension scheme and make your own contributions to your own scheme that you've brought with you. This is all dependent upon the pension providers. Remember that you are being assessed every pay period, so your employer will write to you on your 22nd birthday or when you retire with your new pension options. So how can Swann Systems assist you and your employer? We have been specialists working within the small business sector since 2002 for their accounting and payroll requirements. So as an employer ourselves, we recognise that making sure our employees are informed and can ask questions is so very important. For auto enrolment, we have been assisting many employers with the staff assessments, letters and answering employees' questions, hence this webinar. We've been assisting with the setup of the company pension schemes within companies' payroll software or the setup of pension schemes through our own in-house payroll bureau. We can liaise direct with the pension provider to assist you in understanding the paperwork provided and what it means. Please note that we are not financial advisors and therefore are unable to recommend or give advice on any pension schemes or personal finances. We hope that you found this presentation helpful and answered some of your queries. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this presentation today.